Before the Great War, there was a powerful necromancer, wandering through the ancient battlefields. All necromancers practiced magic related to the dead, but this particular conjurer was only interested in corpses and bringing them back to life. As he was passing through the barren lands, he would collect the most preserved corpses of the fallen, and he would bring them back to his dark and damp cave. As the decades passed, his experiments were successful, and he had risen hundreds of undead warriors. He was respected among his fellow necromancers for his great conjuring abilities. But the old conjurer was not satisfied with this great honor. He wanted more. While looking at and thinking about his great undead army, he felt a need to create the ultimate abomination. A general for his vast undead army. He knew this was a dangerous and hard task, but he didn't care. His greed and hunger for power were unmatched, and with a determined first step, he headed towards the furthest places in the fields of endless carnage. In his head, his plan was clear. He had to acquire the best corpses of fallen generals and heroes. Luckily, the fields in this region were so corrupted that they didn't decompose, even after years of lying there. Blue mist was covering the land, preserving everything that was dead and lifeless. With the help of his undead troops, he found a few corpses perfect for his upcoming quest. As he was returning to his cave, one of his soldiers found a huge metal hook pierced through a fallen warrior. The necromancer was sure that this would be a perfect and unique weapon for his new creation. Upon his return to the dark cave, he began with the preparations for the ritual. He took the best parts from the collected corpses and put them together to form a beast, bigger and scarier than anything he'd created before. Even without the gift of life, this creation was so terrifying that Necromancer had his first doubts. But the lust for power was greater than his doubts. He was sure in his skills, and began a dark ritual to bring this corpse to life. Already filled with shadows, the cave was now completely black. You could only hear Necromancer's voice from somewhere in the darkness as he was invoking his spell. After a moment of silence, two red eyes opened for the first time. This was the Necromancer's greatest creation, but also the last mistake he would ever make. As this abomination took its first steps towards its new master, something horrible happened. Necromancer could not enter the mind of his new servant, as his brain was way too preserved. His servant had its own will, created to kill. He did just that. After killing his warriors, he came to his master. Without a second of thinking, he ate him alive. Necromancer was no more. As the beast was more and more aware of the reality around it, it cleared its thoughts and dubbed itself the Butcher. It found some new weapons in the cave. With those, it easily killed the rest of the Necromancer's army. At the same time, he was unknowingly preparing himself for the great upcoming war. While waiting for his new purpose, he was limping tirelessly through the night, dismembering, disemboweling, and piling up the limbs of the fallen that the battlefield might be clear by dawn.